Welcome to Spoken English TV. Today's topic is daily habits.
Oh, I love this topic.
Do you follow a strict daily routine, Maya?
Not really strict, but I try.
Same here, honestly.
Habits are so powerful, though.
They really shape our whole life.
So, what's the first habit you do every morning?
I check my phone, sadly.
Me too, we're both guilty.
At least we admit it, right?
Honesty is the first step to change.
True. So let's talk about that properly.
Yes, let's break down a full day.
Okay, let's start from the very beginning, the morning.
Good idea. Mornings really set the tone for everything else.
Right? It's like our brains negotiate with us every single morning, and somehow the brain always wins that fight.
After you finally get up, what's the very next thing you do? Do you go straight to the bathroom or check your phone first?
I try not to check my phone first thing anymore. I used to scroll through notifications for 15 minutes before even standing up.
15 minutes? That's a big chunk of your morning gone before you even brush your teeth.
Exactly. And that's why I changed the habit. Now I keep my phone in the kitchen overnight, so I have to physically get up to check it.
That's actually a smart trick. Small changes like that can really break a bad habit without needing a lot of willpower.
What about you? What does your morning look like once you're finally out of bed?
I usually drink a big glass of water first. My grandmother always told me that water wakes up your body better than coffee does.
Do you believe that's actually true, or is it just something families say?
Honestly, I think there's some truth to it. After a full night of sleep, your body is naturally a little dehydrated, so water helps you feel more alert.
That makes sense. I should probably start doing that instead of jumping straight to coffee.
You should try it for a week and see how you feel. Small experiments like that are a fun way to test new habits.
I will try it. Now, let's talk about breakfast. Are you someone who eats breakfast every single day, or do you sometimes skip it?
I eat breakfast almost every day, usually something simple like oats or eggs. I feel weak and irritable if I skip it.
I skip breakfast more often than I should. Some mornings I'm just rushing to get ready, and there isn't enough time.
That's not great for your energy levels, Ryan. Skipping breakfast can make you tired and unfocused by mid-morning.
You're right, and I definitely notice it around 11 o'clock when I suddenly feel sluggish and reach for snacks.
Maybe try preparing something the night before, like overnight oats. Then in the morning, it's already ready and you have no excuse to skip it.
That's actually a great idea. Preparation seems to be a big theme in good habits, doesn't it?
Definitely. Most good habits are really about removing friction, making the good choice the easy choice.
Speaking of good choices, do you exercise regularly? I know a lot of people struggle with this one.
I do try to exercise most days. I usually go for a 30-minute walk or jog before starting work.
That's impressive. I always plan to exercise, but somehow the day gets busy and it never happens.
I know that feeling well. For me, the trick was moving exercise to the morning before anything else can interrupt it.
Doesn't it feel hard to wake up even earlier just to exercise? I already struggle getting up at 6:30.
It was hard at first, but after about 3 weeks, it became automatic. My body actually started waking up on its own before the alarm.
3 weeks doesn't sound too long, actually. I always heard it takes way longer to build a habit.
It depends on the habit and the person, but research generally suggests it takes anywhere from 3 weeks to a couple of months for something to feel truly automatic.
That's actually encouraging.
Maybe I should commit to just 3 weeks of morning walks and see what happens.
You should. Start small, too. Even a 10-minute walk counts. The goal is consistency, not intensity, especially at the beginning.
Good advice. Now, let's move on to the work part of the day. How do you structure your work habits?
I like to make a to-do list every morning before I start working. It helps me see exactly what needs to get done.
Do you write it on paper or do you use an app for that?
I actually prefer paper. There's something satisfying about physically crossing off a task when it's finished.
I totally agree. Digital check marks just don't feel as rewarding somehow.
Right? It's a small thing, but it makes a real difference in motivation throughout the day.
What about breaks? Do you take regular breaks while working, or do you just push through until you're done?
I try to follow something called the Pomodoro method. You work for 25 minutes, then take a 5-minute break.
I've heard of that. Does it actually help you focus better?
It really does, for me at least. Knowing a break is coming soon makes it easier to focus intensely during the working period.
I usually just work until I feel tired, and then I take a break, but that's not really structured at all.
That approach can lead to burnout because you're not giving your brain regular rest. Structured breaks actually help you last longer during the day.
I might try the Pomodoro method myself. What do you usually do during your 5-minute breaks?
I stand up, stretch a little, and sometimes look out the window. Anything that isn't a screen really helps my eyes and my mind.
Speaking of screens, how much time do you think you spend looking at screens every day?
Honestly, probably too much. Between work and my phone, it's easily 8 or 9 hours a day.
That's a lot when you say it out loud like that. I think mine might even be higher, if I'm being honest.
It's something a lot of people struggle with these days, since so much of our lives happen through screens now.
Do you do anything specifically to reduce your screen time or manage it better?
I turned off most notifications on my phone, except for calls and messages from close family. That alone reduced how often I pick up my phone.
That's a great habit. I get so many notifications throughout the day that I end up checking my phone constantly.
Notifications are designed to grab your attention, so turning them off puts you back in control instead of the app controlling you.
I never thought about it that way, but you're right. Apps are literally designed to be addictive.
Exactly. And once you understand that, it becomes easier to build habits that protect your time and attention.
Let's talk about lunch and eating habits during the day. Do you eat at your desk or do you take a proper break?
I always try to eat away from my desk, even if it's just at the kitchen table. Eating while working means I don't really taste the food or feel satisfied.
I eat at my desk almost every day. I usually have my laptop open while I'm eating, which probably isn't the healthiest habit.
That's called mindless eating, and it can actually lead to overeating because you're not paying attention to when you feel full.
I never connected those two things before, but that makes a lot of sense now that you explain it.
Small awareness like that can slowly change your habits over time, even without a lot of extra effort.
Let's shift to the evening now. What does your evening routine usually look like after work is done?
After work, I usually cook dinner, and I try to avoid looking at my phone or laptop for at least an hour afterward.
Is that hard to do, especially after a long day when you just want to relax by scrolling?
It was hard in the beginning, but now I replace scrolling with reading a book or talking with my family instead.
That's a really healthy replacement. What kind of books do you usually read in the evening?
Mostly fiction, actually. It helps my brain relax after a day full of work-related thinking and problem solving.
That sounds nice. My evening habit is usually watching some show, which honestly isn't the most productive choice.
There's nothing wrong with relaxing through a show sometimes, as long as it doesn't turn into hours and hours every single night.
That's exactly my problem. One episode always turns into 5 episodes before I even realize it.
That's called binge watching. And honestly, we've all been there at some point.
Do you have any tricks to avoid falling into that trap yourself?
I usually decide beforehand how many episodes I'll watch, and I set a timer as a reminder for myself.
That's smart. Setting a limit ahead of time definitely sounds easier than trying to stop once you're already deep into a show.
Exactly. Deciding in advance removes the temptation of deciding in the moment when you're less likely to have self-control.
Let's talk about sleep now, since that's such an important daily habit for everyone. What time do you usually go to bed?
I try to be in bed by 10:30, so I can get about 7.5 hours of sleep before my alarm.
I usually go to bed much later, around midnight or even later some nights, which I know isn't great.
That's a pretty big difference. Do you notice a difference in how you feel the next day when you sleep less?
Definitely. I feel foggy and slower, and I usually need more coffee to get through the morning on those days.
Sleep really affects everything else. Your focus, your mood, even your appetite throughout the following day.
Do you have a specific bedtime routine, or do you just go straight to sleep when you lie down?
I dim the lights about an hour before bed, and I avoid my phone completely during that last hour.
An entire hour without your phone? That sounds really difficult, honestly, especially after being on it all day.
It was difficult at first, but now my body actually associates dim lights with sleep, so I fall asleep much faster.
That's interesting. So it's like training your brain to recognize certain signals as bedtime cues?
Exactly. That's the whole idea behind habit building. Creating consistent cues that your brain learns to recognize automatically over time.
Let's talk about weekends now. Do your habits change a lot on weekends compared to weekdays?
A little bit, but I try to keep my sleep schedule mostly the same, even on weekends.
Really? I usually sleep in a lot on weekends to make up for lost sleep during the week.
I understand that urge, but sleeping in too much can actually mess up your body clock, making Monday mornings even harder.
That explains why Mondays always feel so brutal for me. I never connected it to my weekend sleep schedule before.
It's called social jet lag, believe it or not, and it's a real thing that affects a lot of people.
Right? So, keeping your schedule consistent, even loosely, really helps avoid that feeling. What about hobbies? Do you make time for hobbies regularly, or do they get pushed aside by work and habits?
I try to paint at least twice a week. It's become an important part of my routine for relaxing my mind.
That's wonderful. I used to play guitar regularly, but I've let that habit slip over the past few months.
You should try picking it up again. Even just 15 minutes a few times a week can bring it back into your routine.
You're right. I think I've been telling myself I need a full hour, which makes it feel too big to start.
That's such a common mistake people make. Starting small is always better than not starting at all.
That's a great point, actually. Let's talk about something else. Do you track your habits in any way, like with an app or journal?
I use a simple habit tracker app. Every night, I check off the habits I completed for that day.
Does seeing that visual progress actually motivate you to keep going?
It really does. There's something satisfying about seeing a streak of check marks, and I don't want to break the streak.
That's basically gamifying your own life, turning habits into something like a game with rewards.
Exactly. And it works surprisingly well for a lot of people, including me.
Have you ever tried to build a habit and completely failed at it? I'm sure everyone has a story like that.
Oh, definitely. I tried to wake up at 5 in the morning for a whole month, and I lasted about 4 days.
Only 4 days? What happened after that?
I think I set the goal too aggressively, without slowly building up to it. I went from waking up at 7 straight to 5, which was just too big a jump.
That makes sense. It's probably better to change gradually. Maybe 15 minutes earlier each week instead of all at once.
Exactly. That's what I do now with any new habit. Small steps that don't overwhelm me right from the start. What about you, Ryan? Have you ever failed at building a habit that you really wanted to stick with?
Many times, actually. I tried meditating every morning last year, and it lasted about 2 weeks before I completely forgot about it.
What do you think made you forget about it so easily?
I think it's because I didn't attach it to an existing habit. I just tried to remember randomly, and eventually I stopped remembering it all.
That's actually a well-known technique called habit stacking, attaching a new habit to something you already do every day.
How exactly does habit stacking work? Can you explain it a little more?
Sure. For example, you could meditate right after brushing your teeth every morning, since brushing your teeth is already automatic for you.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. The existing habit becomes like a reminder for the new one.
Exactly. And it removes the need to rely purely on memory or motivation, which usually fail eventually.
I might try that with meditation again, stacking it right after brushing my teeth in the morning.
That sounds like a solid plan. Start with just 2 minutes, and you can always increase it later once it feels automatic.
Let's talk about something a little different now. Daily habits related to money. Do you have any financial habits you follow regularly?
I check my expenses every evening before bed, just for 5 minutes, to see where my money went that day.
Doesn't that feel a little stressful, checking your spending every single day?
It felt stressful at first, but now it actually gives me peace of mind because I'm never surprised at the end of the month.
I usually avoid checking my spending until the end of the month, and then I'm always shocked by the total.
That's a really common habit, avoiding something uncomfortable. But the avoidance usually makes the problem feel bigger than it actually is.
You're right. I think I avoid it because I'm scared of what I'll see, but that fear probably makes things worse.
Maybe start with checking once a week instead of daily, just to build the habit gradually without feeling overwhelmed.
That sounds manageable. I'll try starting with a weekly check instead of jumping straight into daily tracking.
That's the right approach. Small, consistent steps are always better than big, ambitious changes that don't last.
Let's talk about learning habits too, since our channel is all about learning English. Do you have a daily habit for learning something new?
I try to learn 5 new English words every day, and I write them in a small notebook I carry with me.
5 words a day adds up to a lot over a year. That's actually a really smart habit.
Exactly. Over a year, that's more than 1,800 new words, just from a tiny daily habit.
When you put it that way, it really shows how powerful small daily actions can become over time.
That's the whole magic of habits. They seem small every single day, but they completely transform your life over months and years.
Do you have any tips for our viewers who want to build a new habit but don't know where to start?
I'd say the biggest tip is to start ridiculously small, smaller than you think you need to.
What do you mean by ridiculously small exactly? Can you give an example for our viewers?
For example, instead of saying, I will read for 30 minutes every day, say, I will read 1 page every day. 1 page feels so easy that you can't say no to it.
And once you start reading that 1 page, you often end up reading more anyway, right?
Exactly. Starting is always the hardest part. Once you begin, continuing usually feels much easier than you expected.
That's really valuable advice. What's the second tip you would give to someone building a new habit?
The second tip is to attach your new habit to a specific time or an existing habit, like we talked about earlier with habit stacking.
And what would be your third tip if you had to pick one more?
Be patient with yourself and don't quit just because you miss one day. Missing once doesn't break the habit, but missing twice in a row often does.
That's such an important point. A lot of people give up completely after just one mistake.
Exactly. The goal isn't perfection, it's consistency over the long run, even with a few slip-ups along the way.
Before we wrap up, I want to ask about accountability. Do you tell other people about the habits you're trying to build?
Yes, actually, I usually tell my sister whenever I start something new. Just knowing she'll ask me about it keeps me a little more disciplined.
I've never really shared my habit goals with anyone. I usually keep them private, just in my own head.
That might be part of why some habits don't stick for you. When it's private, it's easier to quietly quit without anyone noticing.
That's a fair point. Maybe I should start sharing my goals with a friend, or even posting them somewhere.
You could even tell our viewers. Announce a habit in the comments, and people will genuinely ask about your progress.
That's a good idea. And honestly, a little scary too. Public accountability feels different from private accountability.
That's exactly why it works so well. The slight fear of letting people down pushes you to follow through.
Let's talk about one more thing. Weekly planning. Do you do anything special at the start or end of each week?
I do a small Sunday reset. I clean my space, plan my meals, and look at my calendar for the upcoming week.
That sounds so organized. How long does that whole process usually take you?
Only about an hour, but it makes the entire week feel calmer because I'm not scrambling to figure things out each morning.
I don't really plan my weeks at all. I just wake up each day and react to whatever comes.
A lot of people live that way, but it often leads to more stress because small decisions pile up throughout the day.
I can see that. Maybe I should try a simple Sunday routine too, even just 15 minutes to look ahead.
Start with something small, like just writing down 3 important tasks for the week. You can build from there.
I like that idea. Simple beginnings seem to be the theme of this whole conversation, honestly.
They really are. And that's probably the most important lesson from everything we've discussed today.
One last question. Do you ever have days where you break every single habit and just feel completely off track?
Of course, that happens to everyone. Life gets busy and sometimes routines just fall apart for a day or two.
What do you do on those days? Do you feel guilty about it?
I used to feel really guilty, but now I just remind myself that one off day doesn't erase weeks of progress.
That's comforting to hear, honestly. I think a lot of people quit completely after one bad day because they feel like failures.
That's such a common trap. The people who succeed aren't the ones who never fail. They're the ones who simply restart without guilt.
That's a beautiful way to put it. Restarting without guilt instead of giving up entirely.
Exactly. And that mindset alone can completely change how someone approaches building habits long term.
This has been such a helpful conversation. I feel like I'm going to change a few of my own habits after recording this episode.
Me too, honestly. Talking about this makes me want to add a new habit to my own routine as well.
Before we finish, let's do a quick summary for our viewers. What are the main habits we discussed today?
We talked about morning routines, breakfast, exercise, work habits, screen time, evening routines, sleep, hobbies, tracking habits, money habits, and learning habits.
That's a lot of ground covered for one conversation, but every single one connects to daily life so naturally.
Exactly. And the best part is, you don't need to change everything at once. Just pick one habit and start small.
So, to everyone watching, choose just one habit from today's conversation and try it for the next 7 days.
Yes, and let us know in the comments which habit you're going to try first. We would love to hear from you.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of Spoken English TV.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who wants to improve their English.
We'll see you in the next episode. Keep practicing every single day.
Bye, everyone. Take care and build those good habits, one small step at a time.